If a screenshot from OnlyFans just showed up in your parenting case, stop before you panic and stop before you weaponize it. Because in Florida, that screenshot doesn't automatically decide timesharing, but it can become a serious problem if it connects to the child. And that's the part that most parents miss. This video is for two people. The parent terrified that adult work means that they're about to lose time with their child, and the parent convinced that the other parent's adult work automatically wins the case. But neither assumption is safe. I'm Vanessa Vasquez de Lara, founder of the Vasquez de Lara Law Group. I've been practicing family law in Miami-Dade and Broward counties for over 20 years. And by the end of this video, you'll understand what Florida courts actually look at, what facts can make adult content matter, what has to be proven in accusations, and how both parents can avoid turning a sensitive issue into a credibility problem in their case. Just know, this is general information. It is not legal advice for your specific case. For actual legal advice specific to your situation, give our office a call. Now, let's start with the first big trap, because it's the one that causes a lot of people to build their entire case around the wrong thing. Finding an OnlyFans account doesn't automatically win your time-sharing case, and having one doesn't automatically lose it. Just don't make any assumptions. That's the trap. A parent hears OnlyFans or stripper or adult content, and suddenly the whole conversation stops being about parenting. It becomes about shame, embarrassment, and who can make the other parent look worse. But that's not how timesharing is supposed to be decided. Florida courts aren't supposed to say, "We don't like this job, so this parent loses time." That's not part of the judge's analysis. The starting point is the child, not anyone's moral reaction. And that matters for both parents. If you're the parent doing adult work, the mere existence of that work doesn't automatically mean that you're unfit. It also doesn't automatically mean that you lose your overnights. And it doesn't automatically mean the other parent gets to rewrite the parenting plan because they found something online. But if you're the parent raising the concern, that doesn't mean the issue is automatically irrelevant either. The court may still care if the facts connect the work to the child, whether it's through the home environment, safety, privacy, stability, or judgment. So the first rule is simple. Don't build a case around a label like OnlyFans girl. Build it around what can actually be proven in court. Because adult work may be the thing that gets everyone's attention, but it's not the thing that decides the case by itself. So if the label doesn't decide it, what does? The next question, child impact. A judge isn't going to ask how provocative the OnlyFans account is. A judge is going to ask whether it actually affects the child. That's a subtle shift that most parents miss. In a Florida timesharing case, the legal focus is the child's best interests, as the law defines them. Not your opinion. That means practical questions. Is the child safe? Are routines protected? Is privacy being handled responsibly? Is either parent pulling the child into adult conflict? Is there evidence this affects parenting judgment? If the content exists online, but there's no child exposure, no safety issue, no parenting disruption, and no connection to the child's daily life, that's one kind of case. But if the child is exposed, identifiable, pulled into the conflict, or affected at home or school, that's a very different case. Same adult work label, different facts. And different facts can mean a very different analysis. So before you decide this issue is everything or nothing, ask the better question. How does this connect to our child? So when does the OnlyFans account actually make a difference in a timesharing case for your kids? When that online world starts to affect your child's real world. And that's why context matters. An adult account kept separate from the child's life is one thing, but making content that exposes the child, identifies them, or even worse, pulls the child's community into the issue, that's different. So is content filmed around the child's belongings, on shared devices, or during parenting time. And just like any other job, adult work that interferes with transportation, school responsibilities, supervision, or stability can also be a problem. That's why a private account isn't the end of the conversation. Private doesn't always mean protected. The problem isn't the account itself. The problem is when the child's world gets pulled into it. And even then, that context still has to become actual proof. A screenshot of your ex's OnlyFans account can start the court conversation. Absolutely. But it can't carry the whole case by itself. And that's where a lot of parents get into trouble. They walk into the dispute with a label like adult film star, or worse, a rumor, or one piece of online content, and they assume the court will connect all the dots for them. But that's not enough. If you want this issue to matter, you need facts that show why it matters, not just, I found the account, not just, this is embarrassing, and not just, I would never do that. The question is what the evidence actually shows. Did it expose the child? Did it affect parenting? Did it create a safety, privacy, or credibility issue? Did it actually change anything in the child's real life? That's the difference between a serious legal concern and a personal attack from an angry co-parent. Labeling your ex an OnlyFans girl is not proof. A screenshot is not strategy. And before you try to use this issue, you need to understand what your own conduct can do to the case also. If you use your ex's OnlyFans account the wrong way, you can damage your own credibility in court. That's the part that many parents in a time-sharing dispute don't see coming. You may have an absolutely real concern, and you may even have evidence that needs to be reviewed, but how you handle it absolutely matters. Don't threaten to expose the other parent. Do not post about it online. Definitely don't send explicit content to relatives, school contacts, friends, or employers. And above all else, do not pull your child into the adult conflict. Because if your concern is truly your child, your conduct needs to look child-centered as well. Document the facts. Save what your lawyer tells you to save. Explain why it matters to the child, but don't try to turn the issue into a public shaming. The court will look at the other parent's judgment. It's also going to look at your judgment. And one of the things the court will look at in Florida is your ability to maintain a healthy co-parenting relationship. So trying to publicly shame your ex and posting these things on Facebook, it can absolutely backfire in a spectacular fashion. Trying to take the moral high ground won't work if you look like you're trying to do the other parent harm. And the same warning applies if you're the parent with the account. If you're the parent with the OnlyFans account, know this. Panic is not a courtroom strategy. Discipline is. This is the moment you need to get very careful about boundaries. Adult content should stay completely separate from your parenting world. Never around the child. Never around their stuff. Not on shared devices. Not during your parenting time, and not connected to school, home routines, or identifying details. But if your case is already active or is about to be, don't start deleting posts, changing accounts, hiding messages, or trying to clean things up before you get legal advice. That can create a different problem. The goal isn't to pretend the issue doesn't exist. The goal is to stop making it worse. Keep boundaries tight, preserve what needs to be preserved, and don't fire off any emotional text trying to explain yourself. Separate the online world from the parenting world and get real legal advice before you start changing things. So what do you actually do with an OnlyFans issue in a parenting case? Slow down and get the facts reviewed before you rely on it, before you dismiss it, before you delete anything, before you share anything, before you make it the centerpiece of your case. Because this issue can matter, but it doesn't matter in a vacuum. The facts matter, and the way that both parents handle it matters. So if this issue is part of your Florida family law case, don't guess your way through it. Get legal advice before you act. A calm review with a member of my team can help you understand what actually matters, what doesn't matter, and what could create problems for your credibility. So click the link in the description or call our office, because in family court, the facts are more important than labels. Until then, I'm Vanessa Vasquez de Lara, founder of the Vasquez de Lara Law Group, where we make lives better in and out of family court.